leading the way with breaking news.
And leading the way with that breaking news this afternoon, a welfare check leading to an officer opening fire in Madisonville and a person rushed to the hospital. All of this happening on Haley Avenue at about 2 p.m. yesterday. City and police officials standing by right now, sharing an update on the investigation. Let's listen in.
To discuss the incident and the process moving forward. At the top, I want to thank our police department for their swift work to keep the surrounding area safe. I also want to thank our first responders and health professionals for their work to quickly administer aid after the shooting. Thankfully, none of the officers or first responders were hurt. As with every officer-involved shooting, there will be an investigation into this incident with the Citizens Complaint Authority and CPD running their own parallel investigations. Moments like these are challenging, but this is why the collaborative exists, to make sure that our process is clear and strong and that our leaders are upfront with the public about what to expect. I'm confident that the CCA, our police department under Interim Chief Henney, and our administration under City Manager Long will direct these investigations with transparency and clarity. As I mentioned, none of the first responders, including the police officers, were injured, but this incident does, again, shine a light on the incredibly challenging work that our CPD officers do day in and day out, consistently putting their life on the line. An incident like this, which began as a welfare check, unfortunately resulted in an officer-involved shooting and a critical incident. And that's another indication of just how challenging this job is for our CPD officers, how much scrutiny they're under, and while they were not injured, the mental toll that it continues to take. I'm so grateful for the training, for the quick response by the officers to handle the situation and continue to maintain safety for the surrounding areas. And I'm grateful, as always, for their continued public service. I'll now invite City Manager Long to speak.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I want to address the question I know is in many of your minds: leadership in public safety. Because the police chief is currently on paid administrative leave while an ongoing review is underway, I am unable to comment on personnel matters. When I am able to share more, I will. What we're here to discuss and ensure our public is the safety of our residents and our officers is always a top priority. Standing here today, I have full confidence in Interim Chief Adam Henney and the expertise of his leadership team. Cincinnati police never know what they may encounter when responding to a call of service, but they are always prepared, always accountable, and always have the support of this administration. I am deeply grateful to our officers for their service and commitment to our community members. That work is grounded in the problem-solving practices we follow every day through the collaborative agreement. We remain committed to transparency and maintaining public trust while supporting the men and women who put themselves between us and danger. Interim Chief Henney will now share more details about yesterday's incident. Thank you.
You okay? Thank you, everyone. Before we get started, I want you to know that we are going to be completely transparent with the body camera. So please know that there are some images on there that are very graphic. So just be aware of that as we're moving through. We did the best we can to block some of that. So like they were just said, what a tragic situation for everyone to be in. These officers in one moment were here to help on a welfare check, and then on a blink of an eye had to defend their lives. And I just hope we are compassionate with everyone that's involved in this, not only the family, but the officers, because this is something that is going to affect everyone for quite a long time. So as you can see here, I want to bring up, this is in Madisonville at 6574 Haley Avenue. Over on the left there is Bramble Park, just to kind of give you a reference of that space. So what occurred here was around 12:45 p.m., VA home care nurse responded to the area. Understand that this VA nurse checks on this individual quarterly, and always ensures that the day before this person is aware that they're coming. And typically when that happens, the front door is open, the gentleman's waiting for her to show up and gets the services that he needs. For some reason today, the house was secured, and she sat for about an hour knocking on the doors and making phone calls to try to get a hold of this person without any success. At this point, the VA practitioner got a hold of this individual's daughter who lives out of town and says, hey, we had this appointment. He has not answered his door. And at that point, the daughter asked if we can do a welfare check on her father. And this is when the police were notified. The police show up close to about 2 o'clock. The officers attempt to make notifications at the front and the back door and did not get any response. You will see in some of the body camera footage that officers are trying to look through the windows, trying to see if they see any type of movement or any distress in the area, which they did not. In about 10 minutes or so, the officers decided that we should do a welfare check inside. And that's when we got a hold of the fire department. The fire department is the ones that typically will breach a door for us so we can check in on someone. The fire department shows up, and at that point, decided to make forced entry in the back door. Now, when you see this body camera footage, this is the back door to the porch right here. This is after the fire department breaches the door for the police. So the fire department are out of the way. There's 2 officers here right now, and they are just stepping into the house, making notifications, saying that it's the police. You know, are you okay? Down here is a basement, and then there's a few steps that lead up here to a door, which you will see is secured, and goes to the kitchen area.
And this is the body camera footage. Interim Officer Police Chief Adam Henney there warning it is graphic. We decided to turn down that audio because there could be some explicit words said here. But as you can see, officers there in the backside of this house trying to open that door, make contact with the person inside. This was a welfare check that the daughter had asked the VA and police to perform after a nurse from the VA could not get into or access this man who she checks on quarterly. So I don't know if this is a stopped screenshot here, but as you can see, this is the officers going into said home that the fire department had broken down the back door to try and check on this man. Once again, from this next part, my producer is mentioning, you can see those officers going now to the front door. So this is a different body camera video, knocking on that door. They're closing that. Initially going up, you can see them checking in on the window, the front windows there, to see if there's any type of distress inside or situation. And I'm going to have my producer, Jason, just kind of update me as to what is being said there at the press conference as we all kind of figure out exactly
what is going on
what these
here,
are pieced together. We're going to get that audio back up on this actually right now.
When we move on to this now, please note that this is that door that they initially went in, and the door that was closed is right on that angle up a few stairs. Also notice that the porch is completely enclosed, and this is the only way up onto that area, or the only way to exit that area. So this is the officers now returning to try to make contact with the individual.
How you doing, sir?
So once again, this is the officers trying to make contact with this individual. You can hear them greeting someone at the door. They are telling him right now to put a firearm down. Officers saying that that man brandished a gun. As you can see, there is officers that are now stepping back from that door. This is the back door, the initial contact that they had with the person they were trying to do this welfare check on. Right Now they're asking him to put his gun away and come outside to leave this house. Once again, this is graphic video. We do want to warn everyone.
The officers
Interim
are trying to
Police
get
Chief
this
Adam
person,
Henney
obviously,
warning.
to put the weapon down. No one can really see him right now. And like I was saying, in this area here, this officer's kind of stuck on this side. You know, she does not want to be able to go in front of that door because that would be in a line of fire if someone was to shoot at her. So we obviously have the officer here, and we have two officers that are on the other side of the corner of the house. And it's about 15 times from what you were just hearing to the next one that they're telling him that they are the Cincinnati police and to drop the firearm. This is where it's going to be graphic, so just please be advised of that. What you are going to see is the individual is going to step out of his house, and with this door that opens outward, the individual is going to face this officer here, halfway behind the door, and the individual is going to have the firearm pointing in the air next to his head like this. What you're then going to see is the individual is then going to slowly start putting the gun down and pointing it directly at the officer. And I can tell you, just doing this job, that you know that we ask, tell, and demand. What I think you're going to hear in this next segment is there was also a begging. This officer was begging this person to drop this firearm, and then at one moment tells the officers they need to get out of the way because she was fearing for her life and had to use deadly force. So please understand that this is going to be graphic.
All right, we are turning down the audio once again. You heard it there from the interim police chief, Adam Henney. This is where the back door of that home is. Officers on numerous sides of this house trying to tell that person, Chief Henney saying that they asked about 15 times to put that gun down. And we are slowly seeing some of this play out here. You can see now the officer's weapon is up. The door slightly opens there, and you see a man step out. You see a gun pointed into what I believe is the air right there. And you see a shot being fired and that man falling to the floor. Let's turn up the audio. I believe Chief Henney
said
is
another officer's
describing
name, and we wanted to make
what
sure we
happened.
protected their identity. So at this point here, we have some still shots. And as you can see, the firearm is pointed directly at this officer. This was the .32 that he had in his hand. It was loaded. Like we stated before, he is an 89-year-old male. And there was a total of 3 officers at the scene, and one of them was the one that fired their weapon. Now, just like the professionalism that we've shown in other situations like this, right after that individual was shot, the officer that fired the shots immediately holstered their weapon and ran over to that person and started putting a tourniquet on his leg where he was injured, and fire was summoned around the front. So you can see that these officers were extremely professional, extremely brave. They started with coming there to provide aid to an individual, and in a moment's notice was in a lethal encounter, and then immediately returned back to the point of wanting to provide aid for this person. At this time, there has not been any charges filed. We are not done with the investigation and interviewing everyone. Once that is concluded, that information will be presented to the prosecutor and the city solicitor, and if or when charges are filed, it'll be done after their recommendation. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, and I understand, so I'm going to put it out there right away. I do know about his age. I do understand that that's a consideration. You're going to ask me about his medical history. I do not have that at this time. We're waiting to obtain that, and that will all be part of the contributing factors on if or what and when we make any type of criminal charges. And I am now open for any questions from
Why are
you.
we not releasing his name?
Because he has not been formally charged, if he's just a suspect on a crime, we can't release his name.
Was this a suicide by a cop or just a confused old man?
I wish I knew that right now. We have not completed that. I know that once the investigation is completed and we complete all of the interviews, hopefully we can get closer to some sort of answer with that. But all I can say right now is I think everyone in this room could understand what the family is going through, and you can also probably understand what the police officer is going through. And to have that weapon pointed at that officer, clearly, I believe, did everything possible till that threat was made and they had to use that lethal force.
Do you know what service branch he was in? Have you served in?
I do not.
Was he alone in the house at the time?
Yes.
Sounded like 2 shots fired, and you said they were non-fatal. Can you say where the man was shot?
In the leg?
How's he doing now? You know?
As far as I know, he's in stable condition, still in the hospital.
Are you sure he speaks English?
Yes.
You also talked about earlier kind of the mental well-being as well as physical. The officers are okay. How is particularly the officer that fired the weapon doing mentally?
Right. So, as you know, we've implemented an officer wellness program. I know the FOP president is here and is actively involved in that. We have, as our leadership team has worked, me and the other assistant chiefs, we have ensured that we've spoken to all the officers collectively and let them know of what all those resources were available. They're going to be given the appropriate time off for that healing process. And as they continue on, whatever needs they have, we're going to do everything we can to provide those services to them.
Sorry if you said this already, but the nurse, how long had she been going to him? And do we know why she was visiting him?
They were quarterly visits, and I do not know how long she has been servicing this individual.
Can we just talk a little bit about the officer's training? Not only was she in this stressful situation with a gun pointed at her, but she also was worried about her fellow officer that was on the other side of him. Was their positioning part of their training? Can you go into that?
Sure. So what I can tell you is I don't want to get too much into the tactics and the training at this point. So after all of this is reviewed by the CCA and the mayor's office and the city manager and all of that, we do a tactical review. It's called a firearm discharge board, where we're going to review everything step by step from the legality of things to the tactics, so we can learn and make whatever adjustments we need in training.
Can you confirm that he was a veteran, though?
I cannot confirm that. I just know that there's a VA healthcare worker there. I'll take 2 more questions.
Did you say that, does he live alone or does someone else live in the home?
I do not know that information. One more question from me? Thank you.
And Cheryl, can you answer a quick question? Can you say what happened between 1:17 and 2:36 on August 15th or October 15th that would have changed your mind when you first said that Chief BG has your full confidence?
As mentioned, I will not be discussing any personnel matters at this time. Thank you.